Hello everyone, and thank you for patiently waiting. Welcome to our live event. I'm your host Josh from CareerMark TV, and today we're joined by AMSP. During this session, we'll learn more about how maths can be linked with careers. There will be a Q&A segment at the end of the webinar, so feel free to leave any questions in the chat box and we'll get back to them after the presentation. So without further ado, I'll now pass it over to the AMSP team to start their session. Off you go, guys.
Hello. Oh, you need to unmute yourself, Rachel.
I think that was a classic mistake. Not a great start, but anyway, thank you everyone for joining us today. I promise you we'll get better as the presentation goes on. We really appreciate you coming along today, and thanks to those of you who've said hello and introduced yourself in the chat. That's really useful. Please feel free to do that if you haven't done that yet, if you'd like to. But we'll just introduce ourselves and then we'll get cracking. So first of all, my name's Rachel. I, as we all do, work on the AMSP, which is the Advanced Maths Support Programme. My job title is actually Careers Lead for them. And also I work in stakeholder engagement. Before that, I was a maths teacher and did quite a bit of STEM outreach as well.
My name is Kat, and I also work on the AMSP, also a former maths teacher. It's nice to see some maths teachers here in the chat, but career leads also extremely welcome. It's great to be able to kind of get everyone to work together a bit more. My role is mainly supporting schools and colleges deliver core maths, which you're going to be finding out a wee bit more about today, but it's essentially all about real life contextualized maths, and that's how it really fits into all the careers work that we do.
My name's John. As I say, we are three people. In the chat, we just all come under AMSP, so it's kind of funny that we are three different people. My name's John. I started working for AMSP about a year and a bit ago now, and spent kind of teacher 10 years before that working in a sixth form college. So I spend a lot of time thinking about like kind of advising careers for them because they're right on that moment where they were thinking about that, although they should be thinking about it throughout their time at school.
Yeah, so just to reassure you that we are a friendly, hopefully you'll find us friendly, but professional bunch. And we'd love all your interactions. Please use the chat as much as you'd like, whether that's to ask questions, or whether that's to share your own tips as well. But we just want to thank you again for coming along. And we want you to get as much out of this session as you can. So I'll share the aims of the session. But John, did you want to say something about the pre-task as well?
Yeah, so we sent out a pre-task, which is fantastic to see quite a few of you did. You know, we've looked really carefully through what the people's responses were, and we're going to share a couple of kind of things that have come from that, and it's helped to kind of tailor this session towards you and what you were looking for. So yeah, looking forward, and so I'll talk a little bit more about the pre-task in a minute.
Yeah. Brilliant. And if you're thinking, what's the pre-task? Don't worry about it. It was some questions that we did send out with the invitation. Lots of you have replied, which is brilliant. But if not, we take all your questions and thoughts in the chat. And we just want you to get as much out of the session as possible. So these were the aims, which you should be familiar with. And we'll just start with, first of all, in case you're not sure who the AMSP are or what we do and the support that we offer. Just do a quick overview of that for you, first of all. So the AMSP stands for the Advanced Maths Support Programme. Don't be too scared of the word advanced. Essentially, we are a maths support programme, but our aims are in particular to encourage more students, get more students to carry on with maths post GCSE, which is where the advanced comes from. So we're actually, the three of us work on the Advanced Maths Support Programme, but we're employed by MEI, which you may have heard of, which stands for Maths in Education and Industry. And they're a maths education charity. So they manage the AMSP, and we are a programme that is funded by the DFE. So therefore, because we're funded by the DFE, all our resources, events, professional development that we deliver is fully funded for all state secondary schools and colleges. So we work with all students sort of from age 11 right up to when they start at university. So yeah, in particular, our aims are to increase the number of students carrying on with maths beyond GCSE, but also onto STEM degrees and onto STEM apprenticeships as well. and to improve the quality of maths teaching. But we work with not just schools, we do also work with employers and universities too. So I just wanted, for those of you who are familiar or as perhaps you're a careers lead, so you will have heard of, hopefully everybody has heard of the Careers and Enterprise Company, and hopefully you're connected with your local careers hubs. But I just wanted to draw some comparisons so you can see what we do. So this would be the mission statement of the Careers and Enterprise Company. And if we compare that with our mission statement at the AMSP as well, hopefully you can see the similarities there. So the Careers and Enterprise Company, who manage the careers hubs in partnership with either local government or what were the LEPs, they are considered really to be like the national body for careers education. So in a similar way, you can think of the AMSP as a national body for maths education, certainly from Key Stage 4 right up until university. Hopefully the maths teachers in the audience have heard of us, but if you haven't and you're a careers lead, that's why, because our biggest audience are maths teachers. We are actually mentioned in the government's career strategy where they talk about positive engagement with STEM. We're actually explicitly mentioned there as a level 3 maths support programme. So what is our reach and what do we do? Well, we do have, like you say, we can work with all secondary schools and colleges across England, and we do have a good reach, so about 86% of those. And what do we do? Well, we provide student support and tuition if on courses where schools may not be able to deliver that, such as further maths at level 3. Also, we deliver lots of events, enrichment events and events that promote maths, whether that be with employers or that might be at universities, or we can do bespoke local events into schools as well. And we provide support there for students transitioning into university. Also, we provide teaching resources, and we have lots of resources that are information, advice and guidance about different maths pathways that you can take. And we provide, in particular, targeted support for priority schools and colleges. Now, if you think, but there's only 3 of you and that's a lot, you're absolutely right. There's a much bigger team of us than that. And as careers hubs have enterprise coordinators that work across the country, you could think of us as we have area coordinators that work across the country. And the reason why we're quite passionate about this is because we know that having a good maths foundation and carrying on with maths can really improve lives and opportunities for the future. Okay, over to John, and he'll go through some of the things from the pre-task. Thanks, John.
Yeah, so it was good to see. Thank you very much, everyone, for filling in, the people that filled this in. Interestingly, you can overlay onto a map your location. So all our people who did the pre-task were asked to click where they were in the country. I've done this before, and it's quite interesting. I was looking at this. There's quite a lot of you are from around the Birmingham area, I believe. So I don't know if there was a kind of a link there that you kind of people had been recommended this webinar, particularly from an area near Birmingham. We do actually do some special work, the AMSP and the MEI around Birmingham. So yeah, it was interesting to see that. But Rachel just mentioned this. We have area coordinators. So wherever you are in England and Wales, you can have an area coordinator to help you access some specific kind of localized support that we provide. So actually me, Kat and Rachel will work on the kind of national team, but we have people whose focus is just in our individual locations. So really do recommend, if you do want to get some localized support and kind of see what events are happening in where you are, you should go onto our website, onto AMSP, and then just kind of see where your local AC is. So that's where you are and where we are. I'm in the Oxfordshire area. That's where I happen to be, but I've also been in Durham and London in my time in my career. So yeah, it's great to see where everyone is. So another task that was part of the pre-task was to rank the Gatsby benchmarks from kind of easiest to hardest to deliver in your setting. Like having also worked in a sixth form college where we're trying to meet these Gatsby benchmarks, yes, it can be really tricky, and some of them can be definitely feel easier, and some of these can be harder. Oh yeah, I can see that we've just posted where you can find your local area coordinator in the chat, so really good link. But Rachel's been doing these webinars longer than I have, so I thought it might be good to ask you, Rachel, were you surprised by these results? What do you think? Do you think that's what you've seen before, or what do you feel about that?
Well, they're very similar results to we've seen before, but the last time we did this was about 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm pleased to see that Gatsby Benchmark 1, which is ensuring maths is, well, a part of the school or college's careers programme. We slightly tweaked it to make it a little bit mathsy, that one, but that's much higher up than it was before. So that's really good to see. But the thing that's good news for this webinar is that Gatsby Benchmarks for linking careers to the classroom teaching and also introducing students to employers is something that at the AMSP that we can definitely help with in hopefully a fairly straightforward way for schools. So that's good because we'll be talking a bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely that number 5, because you do need some kind of help or some settings for that. Like if you maybe don't have the resources in the schools to bring those employers to your school, we can provide really easy ways to kind of do that. And 6, yeah, that is a very difficult one because it involves a lot of work from the students also to kind of set up that or like a lot of work on the behalf of the school. But yeah, a lot of these we're going to actually give you some easier ways to kind of get these going in your establishment. So a couple of quotes. We asked, how would you like maths career education advice and guidance look different in the future? And once again, we've read these and we had a look through them and tried to kind of make sure that in this session we kind of met some of them. A couple of examples of quotes given that from you. I think that actually when we were talking about the ACs, that can be a really good way to solve the top one about bespoke sessions for the because they can deliver localized support and actually kind of get things just that are suitable for your area, which is so important in careers because employment might look different in different areas of the country. Relevant resources and not just tokenistic, not just kind of, I know I can get behind what you're saying there. I do know what you mean. Like sometimes you feel like you're just going to kind of mention building a house when talking about trigonometry, whereas that feels very kind of just thrown in and not really relevant. Well, we've got some kind of things that we're going to be sharing throughout the session that really do kind of make it feel like you're almost kind of doing things linked to an actual career. And that kind of links to the bottom one there as well, where I have honestly been this situation in my life as well, and a lot of students where like you just don't know what jobs are out there, and we've got collections of resources that kind of help you kind of engage with different kinds of jobs that maybe you but probably students haven't heard of. So we're going to move on to kind of this section is kind of just maybe a bit of an update on kind of different pathways in post 16, and hopefully it can be useful bits of information. But also, I think it might quite be nice to do an activity. So we're going to actually start do an activity now. It's an example of an activity that if you talk to the maths teachers or careers leads out there, you could, if you were doing a session with students, you could take something like this. It's actually based on something that's online and it's got lots of similar aspects to it. So you'll see when I have a go. So looking for people to put some stuff in the chat here. Firstly, what do people think the title of this graph is? So I've hidden some information and I want to know that all graphs should have a title. This one hasn't got one at the moment. So in the chat, what do people think the title of this graph is? Yeah, I think this is a friendly task. Put in the chat there that this is a friendly task of just like, say what you think, and it doesn't matter. There's no kind of judgment here. Oh, I've got an answer. Let's see what other. gonna let kind of one more and see if any other. Yeah, pretty warm. Do you know, I think they're pretty much on it, aren't they? I think they've got a pretty good idea. Yeah, that's right. This was actually entries by subject from JCQ data, and we like to stay up to date here. We're talking about the most up-to-date information. This is literally 2024 A-level entries by subject. So the next thing that I'd like you to have a go at is, obviously we've hidden some of the subjects on the left-hand side. In a second, I'm going to start revealing the top 5. So can people throw some ideas of what they think the top 5 A-level subjects might be? There may be some, I mean, I can't hide it. There may be some hints as to what might be involved here, but I think any guesses of what is in the top 5? We've had English as a guess. Biology, maths, business studies, psychology, chemistry, history. Well, lots of good guesses. Right. Yeah, no, I think, once again, pretty much on it. I'm trying to think whether this is actually, we've covered all of them. Okay, so I'm going to start revealing them. So number 5 was English. Number 4, chemistry. That was mentioned by someone. Biology, yeah, we had that. Psychology, very popular A-level. And would you believe it? Number 1 was maths. And actually, this year it's gone up even more. So it's been rising and rising and becoming, and it's been the most popular A-level for a while now. But the gap of it being by far the most popular A-level has got even more. So we've got lots of other subjects here, and I might reveal a few of the remaining. I'm going to reveal the remaining ones there, and there's some interesting stuff to see there. For example, further maths. That's an interesting one. Is that surprising? This is only the top ones. There are other A-levels that are not on this graph, so there's some missing. So not many there's no languages here, and music is missing and drama is missing. So it could be quite surprising. I think that there's been some shifts with students now, a lot of students only doing 3 A-levels. And so some of the other subjects have kind of got smaller, which is maybe not a good thing. But maths is very high. Further maths, surprisingly high. Sometimes people think this is a very small niche subject, but it's not. It's surprisingly high up there. But there's another subject that we might mention, and that is core maths. You're going to mention something about core maths from me, Kat.
I am. Yeah.
Cool.
So you might be thinking, why on earth are they doing this? Maths is already really, really popular. But there's still a huge number of students who are not taking any maths here. And you're probably thinking as well, like all these other subjects are really, really important, and they absolutely are. But I want to tell you a little bit about level 3 core maths, because it's relevant to everyone really. And you might be in a school that offers it. You might be in a school that's thinking about offering it. Or you might be in an 11 to 16 school, in which case it's really great if you can tell them about this as an option, so that they know they can kind of choose it in the future. It'd be great if in the chat you could write if you are in a place that's offering it, and that would be great to hear. More and more places are offering core maths now, because there is now additional funding of £900 per student to give schools and colleges an incentive for offering it and making it easy to offer. So if you need any help with setting it up, we can help with that, but I'm just going to tell you a wee bit more about what it's all about, really. And to kind of understand the need for it, I need to give you a little tiny bit of history, okay? Because, like I said, you might be thinking, well, there's loads of people doing maths. We don't need any more. So, again, another little audience participation task. There was a report by the Nuffield Foundation, quite a few years ago now, actually going on for 10 years ago, in which they looked at 24 economically similar countries, And they looked at kind of what the maths offer was, how many, students were kind of doing maths beyond 16. And I'm interested to know what you think the participation was in England at that time. So about 10 years ago, what percentage of students carried on with maths beyond GCSE? So it's a percentage that I want you to guess in the chat. And again, no judgment. Every time I ask people this, we get a huge range of answers, and most of them are not right. So what percentage of students do you think were doing maths beyond 16 in England about 10 years ago? Okay, good lies. We've got, I guess, a 40% so far. 35. Maybe we're going to be on a downward trend now. Noah, 25%. Thank you. Okay, so some people might say Matt is cynical, but he's actually the most accurate. It was actually 13%. So let's have a look and see why does that matter? Maybe 13% is a good number. So like I said, this report was looking at 24 economically similar countries. I want you to now guess how many of those 24 countries had more than half of their students carrying on with maths beyond GCSE, or the GCSE equivalent. So England had 13%. How many of the countries had more than half their students doing maths beyond 16? So now you're looking for a number between 1 and 24, or 0 and 24. Thanks, Alison. That's a guess of 12. 14, 19, 15, 18. Okay, brilliant. Yes, Daniel and Matt, very good guessers, or you maybe know the answer. Yes, so there was 18 countries actually had more than half of their students carrying on with maths. And obviously this is a problem because, we have to think globally now, and we're like a global job market a lot more than we used to be. And so if we have our students not carrying on with maths, we're kind of putting them at a bit of a disadvantage really compared to other countries. So around this time, there was lots of changes happened to the new A-levels were updated, and you may know the fact that there was some other A-level subjects that had an increase in maths requirements come in, and there's a minimum maths requirement in T-levels and things like that as well. So there was changes around that time, and also there was a need really for another qualification. And this is kind of where core maths came in. So core maths is a subject that you can do alongside your main program. So you might do 3 A-levels plus core maths, or a BTEC plus core maths. So it's like a little bonus. And what we did in the pre-task was we asked you what kind of maths you use just in your sort of day-to-day life, in your job, in your personal life, that kind of thing. And these were the results. So we give these options. Finance, representing interpreting data, probability and risk, spreadsheets, critically analyzing information. That's things like, maybe you read the news and you see a statistic, or you see it on social media and you pause and you think, hang on, could that be true? That's the kind of thing that is, an estimation. And these topics are all in level 3 core maths. So the reason we ask you if you did them was just to kind of also just double check that if the content of core maths is still relevant, and it looks like it is. So the course was designed with employers and universities to make sure that it's relevant. I'm sure all of you have been in a maths class, maybe when you were little, and you've done a question and it doesn't feel real. And someone's asking you about, Bob's had 2/3 of a sandwich, and it just doesn't seem like something you would ever do in real life. That is not what happens in core maths. It feels like genuinely useful things that you would need to have in your real life. Things like tax and national insurance, and spreadsheets, working out mortgage repayments, that kind of thing. So very, very relevant stuff there as well. So just to give you kind of the brief information about it, obviously those people that are offering it as well, I'm sure you've got all this guidance to give to students and let them know that they can choose it. So it's for anyone who gets at least a grade 4. So that means it opens it up a lot more. Often A-level maths has entry requirements of at least a 6, often higher in different places. And it's got an exam. Some places do it in 1 year and some in 2, and you do an exam at the end of it. And it's got UCAS points associated with it. Lots of universities are now starting to recognise it and will give students a lower offer if they have core maths. And we're working on making employers more aware of it too, so they realise the kind of skills that students will develop by doing the course. So it's not just those really useful skills that we saw there, but also things like communication, problem solving, and the way the course is taught is a lot more about, there might not be an answer, for example, they know, like there was one question 1 year which was about estimating the cost to resurface the M6, and they're given some facts, but obviously no one's going to have the exact right answer, just like would be the case if this was something the government was thinking about doing or whatever. So it's a really, really valuable qualification, and really popular as well. So you can see that the numbers are increasing. We just had over 12,000 students taking it in 2024. And one of my colleagues might want to move me out of the way so you can see the number of 2024. But you can see there's a big potential there for a lot more students. So brilliant, thank you. So this course really supports things like psychology and biology and geography and business, the maths that's in those subjects, but also great for people that are choosing things that are not that mathsy too. We have a really nice little video which students talk about their experiences, which is actually much better than me saying how great it is, which we're just going to pop a link in the chat to that now, so you can just watch that at your leisure, or also just send it out to parents that you're in contact with, and they're just going to be aware of the qualification a lot more. It's only a few minutes long as well. We're now going to look at resources that you can use within your school or college to kind of make that link, really, particularly with Gatsby Benchmark 4.
Yes, so thanks again for completing the pre-task. It's got a few comments here that some of you put in when we asked, what is it you'd like to have to help you in your classroom, and so I'll just let you read those comments. And as you'll see, there's a lot about showing how maths is used in the world of work. And luckily we have a video collection that we made called Where Maths Meets the World of Work. And what we tried to do is, there are some what you might call obvious jobs in that list, but then there are some jobs which maybe the students wouldn't associate with maths at all. And so some of those careers use different levels of maths as well. So we've tried to sort of highlight that in the collection. But things like, why would you need, if you worked in marketing, why would you need to know about maths? Well, marketing is actually quite a mathsy job, where they work with a lot of different analytics to see the impact and evaluate the impact and make decisions about marketing campaigns and things like that. There's one of my favorite videos is hard to say, but it's great to watch. Try working in orthotics and prosthetics. It's very hard to say, but it's just to show that, there may be students who want to work in the health industry, or they want to be a doctor, but there are other careers in the medical sort of realm other than just being a doctor or a nurse. Also, how maths is used, to help us understand the climate crisis and what we can do about that. Anyway, so there's a great wealth of, it's 12, but there's a lot of different jobs there. And also what's great about that video collection is they're each paired with an activity. So we call those, that's why the videos are called Try Being a Data Detective, because then there's an activity that you can also try in class as well. So it's linked to the curriculum and also involves the careers.
And I definitely said to you, Rachel, a few times that I would have loved to have known about this earlier, or then to be existing earlier through my career as a teacher, because it is definitely something that is so useful to just pop up. They're not very long, are they? So you can use them. We hear a lot of good things about those videos, don't we? Yeah,
they're quite flexible. They're 5 minutes long. You can watch them. That's the end of that. Or, you can do the activity. You can extend some of those activities into real team tasks and things as well. And they're really good ones to when you're doing maths, but you can also point out that you're developing this skill, perhaps communication, presentation, teamwork, those sorts of things as well.
And I think it's worth saying as well that the top four, the ones that say focusing on core maths, they have resources linked that are at 4 different levels.
Yeah.
So we have version A, B, C, and D. And version A, we actually designed so that it would be accessible to Key Stage 2, 3 students. So sort of transition. And we know some people have actually used those kind of activities on transition day very successfully. So don't be thinking that these are just for Key Stage 4, you know, particularly when, you know, we all know that the curriculum is really packed and you're trying to get through all that. There's lots of things here that you can use all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely. All the way up through the school, you could use these videos. And we really made sure that the people featuring, they're just regular people, but we made sure that their stories were interesting and also that they use language. So we told them they're talking to an 11-year-old essentially. So they shouldn't be too confusing. But as well as people asking for resources that they can use to link maths or their subject with careers, what's more common is, but this is great, we don't want to don't overwhelm us with a whole load of stuff. Okay, how can we actually embed that into our curriculum? Because that's the hard part. It's not necessarily finding the resource, but it's how can you fit it in? So we've done a little bit of work on that. So Kat's done some great work on that. So she's going to share that with you now. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Rachel said, we get a lot of requests for like, you know, what can we do? How can, you know, we kind of make it easy? We're really, really busy. And it's not that long ago that, you know, we were in the classroom and we completely understand that you're really, really busy and it's very difficult to find the time for anything. So what we've done is we've gone through all the resources that we kind of have tried and tested, we've had really good feedback from, and also from external partners that we really, really value. And we've kind of decided, like, you know, if we were teaching now, if we were back in the school now, what would we choose to do? And we wanted to keep it really simple. So what you'll see here is the big collection. This is a Padlet, it's just a platform that we've used a bit like a digital notice board. And you'll see that there's a column for each of the years from year 7 all the way up to kind of second year of sixth form. I've called it post 16B because not everyone calls it year 13. And you can see in each column, there are 3 different activities. So there is a green one, a yellow, orange one, depending on what you see, and a red one. And how this works is that the green one is something that we say is really easy to use. So it requires no lesson time, no preparation, nothing. It might just be a case of centrally within your school or college, this link is sent out to students or parents. So it's just tell students about this thing that they can get involved in their own time, or they can read a magazine. So as you look across, you'll see that there's a brilliant organization called the STEMettes that they could attend events external to school. These are live online career challenges that they can get involved in from year 8. Year 9, it's just a little video as part of another video collection that we have. So very, very easy things in all the green things. Okay, so that could be like, you know, the minimum you do, and it would be dead easy. When you move on to the orange ones, the yellow orange ones, they require a bit more effort. So when I say effort, it would mean you would need to use some lesson time really for this. So you can see we have gone through and chosen some of the World of Work videos that Rachel's talked about. And we've said, you know what, I think I would use that one with year 7. But obviously you can change it. You know, this is just a guide in case it's helpful. So you can see there that we chose the orthotist video and activity with year 7. And that was because the activity was angles that we felt fitted in really well with what students might be studying at that time. And you can see here, so we've got some activities with the World of Art videos. And we also have in year 10 that you could stream an online career panel event into your lesson. So when you were talking about it's difficult to, you know, get students to have experiences with employers, what happens there is, you know, you just sign up and this is sort of live streamed into your lesson, and students can ask questions and you just type them in on their behalf in the chat, which is, again, a really easy way, but it does use some lesson time there as well. So this, I'll just kind of scroll on a little bit. You can see here. So some of the yellow orange ones here, we appreciate that when you get higher up the school, time becomes really, really limited. So, you know, some of these things here, for example, they're just like a little a little couple of slides maybe that you might want to just embed within a lesson rather than sort of take an entire lesson time to do that. Okay, so that's the orange ones. Now the red ones do require more effort, so they might involve bringing someone into your school or taking a trip out. And we all know the dreaded risk assessment that has to be written up for those things. But some of them, are not that difficult, but just require a bit more organizing. So you can see here, this is an online or an in-school encounter, but it's something that you would book. So it's a wee bit more bespoke for your institution. And then you can see here, you could set up a speed networking event. So that's just a guide on how to do that by getting in touch with your local STEM ambassadors. So there's just suggested things you might want to attend. Maths inspiration show. So there's loads and loads and loads of things here. We are more than happy for you to get in touch with us or ask questions now about any particular event that's here, or just to find out a wee bit more information. And we have lots more than this. This was just in case all of that became a wee bit too overwhelming.
Yeah, but we have had some good feedback, haven't we, about the Padlet, that it's helpful because, well, I probably shouldn't share this piece of information, but I like gusto meals, because the worst thing for me about cooking is all that, choosing and thinking about what shall I have tonight. So the fact that you've put it in these for year 7 and these for year 8, people have found, etc. People have found that very helpful.
We put the link in the chat as well, so people, if there's one link you're gonna make a bookmark for that one, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. But as Kat said, if you want to contact us about any of those things, then do ask. That's all right. You'll just disappear so we can see what the final aim is. So if you are you're a careers lead in a school, maybe you have actually turned up and the maths teachers that are on the call as well are yours, and that's amazing if you have. But if you are in a school or in a careers hub or something, and you want to get a maths department within a school to engage with you, then we've just, without overwhelming you again, we've just got a few quick wins for that. So the 2 simplest things that you could possibly do are, first of all, you could email us here, and we have, like we said, we offer information, advice and guidance on post-16 maths pathways. So we actually have printed, it's nice quality, on glossy paper. We have some good printed literature that we can send you. So right now, this is the season possibly for 6th form, open evenings coming up. So we get lots of requests. This is our opening the doors to your future leaflet, which is for students and parents. And we also have postcards and posters as well that you can request, as again, we said, all free of charge. And then, as John said, please just download or ask for the Padlet. There are lots of other ideas that we have, but we don't want to share too much. But anything from, connecting up locally, that would be, with your area coordinator, because they can provide, on the spot help then and support and show you what we do. That's great. Also, if you are in a careers hub, perhaps if you want to make sure that you're getting all the latest information on what those post-16 maths pathways are, then that's brilliant. You can get that from us. You can put that out of your mind, and we can give you that information. Kat.
I just saw a question from Aidan about, is the literature just for post-16? So it's for students who are in Key Stage 3 and 4 to think about what they're going to do next. So the kind of thing that it's used for is maybe to be left out on open evenings or parents' evenings, and there's postcards there. So some of them also inform about the maths that are in other subjects. Mm-hmm. So you can order, for example, a geography one and psychology one, and you could actually give them to those teachers as well, that they could hand out when people were coming to open evenings. And there's also posters. Is that right, Rachel?
That's right. Yeah, there's posters as well. So they're aimed at 11 to 16 students, but they're informing them about their post-16 options, but also careers and that sort of thing as well. In fact, Green Careers Week is coming up, and we have a presence on the Green Careers Week website. So under MEI, because that's who we actually work for, you'll see there links to Green Careers resources, but also postcards and different careers things on there as well. If you're looking for something that's particularly themed on green careers and how maths is important in that.
Can I just ask before we do this? I just wondered if there's anything in the chat, if people want to write in the chat, if there's anything particular that people really wanted, because like I said, we didn't want to overwhelm you, but maybe, for example, you've got a really, you've got a year 9 careers day or something, and you would like sort of particular guidance of like, what would you use or what would you do? And this is a great time to think about that and put that in the chat for us too.
Yeah, agreed.
And I guess likewise, if you think of something after right this second on the screen, there's some ways in which you can get in touch with us. I think am I right, Rachel? It's you and me you get hold of if you email careers@AMSP. Is that right?
Yeah. Anything on that email.
We'd ask Kat if it's about stuff that she knows about as well.
Yeah, that comes through to us. But essentially, because we're DFE funded, we're here to support you and your students. If you're in a careers hub, you and your schools in any way that we can. So like I said, it sounds a bit arrogant, but we don't mean it like that. But we are the experts in like the maths education and the maths pathways. So if we can help you by giving you that information, then that's brilliant. We do lots of professional development work, so we can train staff. So Nikki's got a good question. Yeah, so we do. Local area coordinators often get asked to go along to a careers fair in a school and have a stall, if that's the kind of thing that you were asking. Absolutely.
And sometimes they would do workshops as well. So they could do careers related workshops too. Yeah,
you can do workshops with students or with staff. So I'm doing one coming up in London with a group of schools there. I've done it as well with teachers that aren't maths teachers, which was a little bit more challenging, but that's fine, because the thing is, these resources are not just developing maths, they are developing skills that employers are looking for. So they're appropriate to be used. Like the videos and some of the activities are often used in like form times or on careers days and things like that. And basically you can see all of the different literature on that page there that John's put in, and then you can order them accordingly, or if you wanted to use an image in a presentation, then you can do that too.
I think that's what I was just going to share.
And if you want to keep in touch with us, then you can click on there. Well, we'll put a link for you to sign up to stay informed, or just get in. The easiest way maybe, if you prefer, just to get in touch with us. But again, I would emphasise that we are local, so we have area coordinators, just like careers hubs have enterprise coordinators. We'll just use our resources. That's what we want you to do.
I guess that draws to an end the kind of like the presentation that we wanted to give today, doesn't it? It's been really, but we are, but we're happy to answer any more questions if people have any put in the chat. So we can. We'd love to answer any questions you have. Some good questions they've asked, actually. Are nice.
Good questions, yes, that's right. Yeah.
Well, we've been able to answer them, so I guess that's a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll hang around, and if you'd like to ask us anything, please do. If you don't want to do it here, you can email us. And if you need to get on, if you've stayed in school, thank you very much for staying in school, for taking part today. We appreciate that. Thank you, Jerome, for coming along, and I hope that you have a good evening.
Glad to hear it's useful.
Thank you very much, everyone.
We did ask about the chat actually, and I think Career Map can put the chat in the kind of notes underneath. Josh, do you want to just tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so any links that you guys want to provide to the people that have watched, or anybody that is asking, what we're actually going to do is within the week we'll post this to our socials, so Career Map TV, You can find it on YouTube and everything like that. And then in the description, there'll be any useful links that obviously anybody wants to see, or any useful information after the chat. So as I said, that'll be posted within the week. So that'll be really useful for anybody looking, for their links.
And on the Padlet as well, if you kind of scroll quite far to the right, there is a column that says other ideas. And you will find a lot of the things that we've been mentioning today. So pretty much the Padlet is like the go-to place. And if there's something else that you that you need or whatever, you can just get in touch with us. I'll pop the link to that in the chat again. I would just bookmark that link maybe with the Padlet so you don't lose it. Alison's asked, where are you posting the recording, Josh?
Yeah, so it'll be on our YouTube channel mainly. So if you just go into YouTube and type in Career Map TV, and then you'll be able to see the seminar today. So this is recording and will be posted, and then it'll be in the description of that video. And yeah, so as I can see you posting links into the chat as well. So that might be useful. I think you've already mentioned it a couple of times, bookmarking that or saving that as well. But, if you do miss any, they will be in that description on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Perfect. So we do have the slot till 4 o'clock. So we've got about just over 10 minutes. Guys, please feel free, to keep popping any questions. I don't know if you guys have any closing statements ready, or, just a kind of quick one-line recap, just to, make sure that anything you have gone over, just to remind everybody, if that's okay with you guys.
I'll just say thank you very much, and feel free to get in touch. We're happy to talk to your colleagues or answer any questions. We're here, we're here to help. That's the badge I should have had on, I think, today.
But the other thing I would like to say is we totally appreciate how busy you are and how difficult this is. So even if you just send a link out to parents or something, then that's great.
Yeah, we definitely talk a lot when we're preparing these things about let's make sure this is something that's easy to use. Make sure that it's a quick win. Well, we used the phrase quick win already, didn't we? So, yeah, I guess, we've sent a lot of links out, but it's also like the AMSP website itself, AMSP into your favorite search engine, where it collects things together, where it's like, in there is the information about kind of careers, and also like the stuff we do with students, the local support, and also teacher support that we do as well. So we're a wider organization, but we've obviously been focusing today on the career stuff. But yeah, also say thank you to the people in the chat for, engaging with our few activities that we did. But yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think you've answered everybody's questions. I think everybody's pretty satisfied. So if it's okay with you guys, I think we'll end it there. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for you guys for joining us, obviously taking you through your presentation, should I say, and answering everybody's questions really, really well. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be recorded and will be on our Career Map TV socials within the week, hopefully. So that's just YouTube, and any links or anything like that we can provide there. I hope everybody found it insightful and useful. And so, yeah, thank you very, very much for joining. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.